Hello there, my name is Jimmy Wikman and this is another video for the Atlassian cloud changes. And this video we will look at the dates between January 29th and February 5th. So let's jump into the Atlassian cloud changes in the Atlassian blog and see what they have for us this week. So here we are now in the blog, so we can go through and see what kind of changes they have come up with this week. So we do the same thing as we do all weeks, or every week. We just go through them, I read what they are publishing, and then we have a little bit of a reaction to it, and in some cases we discuss it a little bit. So let's jump down to the first one. So this one is new to me. This one is actually not the release that they have. So what they are saying is that they will have basically an event for this one. So they are saying join us on the 8th of February to ask Atlassian Access product experts. So it actually means that we can now submit questions and we can learn more about Atlassian Access. So I have never seen this one before, and it's interesting that they choose to publish it in this way. But I will probably be there to learn more a little bit about this one and probably submit a couple of questions. But if you are interested in submitting a question for it to learn more on how you can secure your Atlassian products and also how you can use this one for access, obviously, then you can submit your questions here. Moving over to the next one. I feel like we talked about this one last week. This is now how we can track external users who are also Confluence guests. So you have three scenarios here that they are publishing. So the first one is then to view the number of external users, including Confluence guests. Then you can go to admin.atlassian.com, security external users, and you can see the number of external users. The second thing that we have then is how you can view your external users in a CSV file, so you can download it instead. So you do the same thing. You go to admin.atlassian.com, security external users, and export, and you select and export external users to a CSV file, and then you make sure that then you have external user settings applied to column in order to see the Confluence ones. And the last one is then to see this in your test policy, and then you can go now to security external users and you can select test policy and select users, and then you can add or remove the external users to see that one. And you can also click here to see more about this one if you are a little bit confused on what these things are, if you haven't worked a lot in your admin with the security test policies or external users yet. Next up, we have the admin now has product banners. So instead of getting recommendations like we used to, they now have banners. So anyone that can use administration@atlassian.com. So it's not going to be for everyone. It's just your site admins or your org admins and stuff like that. They will now see a banner that recommends a new Atlassian product when they navigate to products, discover new products. So that is good. So I think that could be a valid change that they do. And they can, of course, dismiss the recommendation banners if they want. If they're not interested in one of the new products or one of the products that they currently don't have, then they can dismiss that one. It does not say if it is honoring that dismissal, like in a cookie or a session or something like that. But I'm assuming it does, because it would be kind of annoying if you have to dismiss it all the time. So we probably need to try that one out. But I assume that they have thought this one through. So if I'm not interested in seeing, for example, one of the new products, then when I click it away, then I should never have to see it again. Next up, let's see, I jumped past one. So add a new Bitbucket workspace to your organization. So they've changed a little bit how you can add the Bitbucket products and how you can add a new Bitbucket workspace into your organization. So they have made this a new flow, and they also have visualized it a little bit differently. So they switched the order on how you can add product to your organization. So instead of choosing a new site, you can add your product first. So you can go to admin Atlassian.com as usual. You go to products and add product, and then you can select Bitbucket then from the selected product, and then you can enter the workspace name. So in the past you had to go the other way around, but now then you can actually do this, and I think this is a more natural flow how you should add these products to a workspace. So this is a good change if you're using Bitbucket and if you want to add new things all the time. Next up, we have for the Jira platform now, we are revamping the Jira import wizard. So this looks a little bit interesting. They are replacing now the old Jira import wizard. So if you remember when you import your CSVs and stuff like that, then you have a certain UI and you have to do certain steps. And now they are replacing that one with a new and improved way of importing. So we have to check that one out to see how that one looks. And you also have different recommendation for what kind of data you want to import to Jira Cloud. So for example, if it is for an external system to cloud, they want to use this CSV importer. If it is now for people that are panicking and they need to move from server to cloud, then they can use the migration assistant. And also if you want to move things between two cloud instances, then you have migrate cloud site. So this one I look forward to check this one out, because the old way of importing things wasn't bad. I never thought it was in need of change, but apparently Atlassian thinks we can do it even better. So I'm going to check this one out and see what it looks like. Next up is for Jira Software. So they are making it easier now for team to access products that they need. And this sounds like it's a huge change, but it is actually, I think it's only related to people that have the free version. So if someone want to try out, for example, Jira Product Discovery, which you should, it's an awesome product, or maybe try out Compass or one of the other tools that are fairly new, then in the past you needed to request that one to the admin and then they would add it for you. But now they don't need to do that. Then they can just click and they will get a single user license for that one, a free version of it. So they can try it out without actually involving the admins. And this is both good and bad. If you have a play around instance, like the free version is, then sure, why not? Let the people play around as much as they want. But if you have, let's say you have the free version and you are actually working in there and having people adding data, like new products and stuff like that, I would not like that very much. But I think that this one is for the purpose of just trying things out, which is why most people use the free version. This should be fine. So it's, I think if you want to try things out and you don't want to rely on that cranky person who owns the platform, and you just want to click in it and test it out and then toss it away, then this could be a good change. But let me know what you think. Add it in the comments if you think that you would be comfortable having a free version and allowing the other 9 people to just add whatever they want without involving you. Moving on to the next one. So we have now moved over to Jira Work Management. So they are now making some changes to how you can create issues in the context that you are in, that you're working in. So before, we have created this one for different areas in Jira. So we can do it now in the columns, for example, in boards, and we can do it in the timeline and so on. So now they are moving on also to Jira Work Management. So now you can hover over the area between 2 issues, for example, and you should see this little plus icon that will allow you to basically input something in between those 2. And you can also do this with a child issue if you hover over the issue. So if you hover directly over the issue and you click the plus sign, then it will create it as a child of that one. And I think this is fairly good. I haven't tried it out, so I don't know how long you actually have to hover. But in general, this is not an uncommon pattern for doing these kinds of things. So I think this one is really good. And more additions to work management, I think, is a good thing, because it's a really good tool. So we just need to keep adding to it, so even more will start using it. And this one, I think, is a good view or a good start for that one. So we can actually work faster also in Jira Work Management. Next up, we're moving over now then to Jira Product Discovery. And this one is the same as you had above. So you can also now create this one user license for Jira Product Discovery also. If you want to try it out, then you can just click in it, or if you are on a free license. Confluence, excerpts, not the most used thing, the most used macro in Confluence, but pretty much one of the most useful one that you can probably have, especially if you're working with situations where you want to, for example, share information between two sites. So if you have legal documentation, for example, that are non-functional requirements, it's very good to place them in an excerpt and then just fetch that excerpt on another page. So they are doing the same thing as they did with, and I forgot which macro it was last week, but they are improving the name and the icon so it's easier to find and to understand what it is. And then you have a better search and select experience, so you can also add it faster. And then you have the inclusion of your excerpt name and its source page title within its frame. So it's clearer than where do you actually fetching this information from and where is it coming from. So I think this is really good, and I hope more people will start using the excerpt and the excerpt include, because those are two very good macros that you can use for different purposes. So I like this one. It's a good change, and it looks like they are slowly going over multiple macros to improve then the name and icon and visibility to make them easier to find and to use, and I think that is a really good thing. Next up then is follow-up questions for smart answers in Confluence Search. And I haven't tried this one. I'm not really sure what this one is, but apparently you can now have smart answers. So when you use the Confluence Search, it now provides suggested follow-up questions along with the corresponding answers. So I'm guessing this is tied into AI in some way, so they anticipate what you might have questions for next, which is awesome. But I don't really know how this one looks or how it works, so I have to check this one out and see how great it actually is. But it sounds really good. And that was it. That was the entirety of the changes that we had now for the period of January 29th to February 5th. So which one was your favorite this week, and what are you looking forward to in the coming weeks based on the timeline that we have? Sign off in the comment. Other than that, I think the only thing that remains for me to say is the same thing I always say, and then I wish that you have an awesome day and a great week.